Welcome to this week's episode of Becoming More Me, the podcast for high achieving entrepreneurs and professionals who want to be more and do less. I'm your host, Theresa Lear Levine, international best-selling author, hypnotherapist, EFT master practitioner, mom of four boys, and wearer of many hats. And today I get to interview a dear friend and a former guest, Sharon Duncan. If you remember, go back to, episode 91, and we're in episode 200 and something now. So it was a while ago. It was back in 2023, I believe, when I had Sharon on the show last. But Sharon and I have kept in touch. I've actually been through her program. She's been through my program. We've gotten to experience each other's work up close and firsthand. And I just love her. She's amazing. And she brings together some rare blends of things that just really make her work and her contributions to the world pop. She has over, close to 40 years at this point in accounting, okay? Over 35 years sober. And she combines accounting and tax knowledge with holistic coaching, intuition, and energy work. And she channels in spirit guides, and she just has really awesome connection to source. And I know you guys loved the last interview. I got a lot of great feedback. So this time, I want to dive in with Sharon and talk more about prosperity. She's really, really good at helping people untangle old money stories and even to get more regulated around their finances and really create this genuine, grounded prosperity. We're going to talk about what prosperity really means and even abundance too, because it's not just money, right? And she's also going to share with you a really awesome opportunity to be coached and trained by her in an upcoming free 5-day live training that she's doing, which is amazing. And we'll talk more about that. I'll even share the registration information in the show notes. And we're going to go deeper into why all this, money and prosperity and abundance stuff is rarely about math, and how fight or flight really kind of show up in the bank account, or even fawn. That one comes up too, avoidance and resistance, all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about the role that intuition plays in good financial decisions, as well as integrity and alignment, and also some, simple practices, things that you can do to feel better about your situation and create forward momentum, as well as a kinder and more gentle inner narrative when it comes to money. Sharon's actually also going to share about her inner this inner role that she has that has been gently transforming since the work that we did together with hypnotherapy and EFT. So a lot of fun things to learn and grow with today. And let's dive in. Let's talk about prosperity, the inner work, and the practical moves that support it. It all starts now. Welcome back, Sharon. I'm so happy to have you here today.
I am super excited to be with you. I always love to see you.
Oh yes. Luckily we get to see each other pretty often. So it's been great. But for people who listen to the podcast, they haven't heard us talking together since episode 91. Can you believe it?
Wow.
I'm episode 200 and something now. So it's been a little while. It's been a couple of years. So since 2023, what feels like it's evolved for you since then, since our last conversation?
Wow. So many things. The biggest thing was the launch last year, the official launch of the program that I've run several times. As you know, because you were part of my launch of
Great.
the financial flow formula, which has now evolved into the prosperity method. So that felt that kind of felt like a really big deal. There's a lot of moving parts. There's how do you connect with people? How do you serve people so that they can feel better? I mean, that's my ultimate goal. I really felt like I was able to serve a bunch of human beings that didn't even know me. It had an impact, and that feels amazing. Like that
Oh, it
picks me
does.
up. right? It makes me feel like this is why I was put on the planet. And I'm still learning. Like I'm learning about how to do this and how to reach people in a way that's not salesy or buy my stuff. Like I don't want that. Like I want to be able to be of service to connect with people. So since 2023, I'm still learning how to connect with other human beings so that my message helps them feel better around money, around prosperity, around finances, so that they can feel better. Like we just want to feel better, right? Like honestly, that's what you do. You help people get the crap out of the way, like, right? So that's kind of
So
what's been
true.
happening.
And I think we're always learning, right? We're always on this path. I think the day I stop trying to learn or improve, I won't I'll cease to have passion for what I'm doing. I don't know.
Yeah,
And I don't see that ever happening. So I think
yeah.
we'll always be learning and evolving. And how can people not help but feel better in your presence? You're always just like so incredibly positive and real and authentic about everything that I've ever heard you talk about. Both in your programs and candidly in our own one-on-one conversations. So definitely appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know anything about you, haven't listened to our last episode or anything else, can you just give us a little background on you, where you live, what you do, how you got into all this?
Sure, I would love that. That's so much fun. I live on Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, and what's interesting about that is I moved here. It was cool back in the day, but I moved here in 1980. Like before, it was like really cool. Like now we're on the map. It's kind of a bummer. Um, there's been some benefits to that, but it's kind of a bummer. But it's a beautiful area to live. I feel very blessed that my intuition led me here and said land, and I did, and I haven't left. What's also really interesting is that I had some real struggles in my early 20s. And what happened out of that was I made the decision, like I was broke. I was a broke single mom. I made a decision that I didn't want to be a broke single mom and to stop waiting for somebody else to do it. And I went back to school. I actually learned that I actually have some smarts, not that somebody, so I went back to school for accounting, right? Because I was fascinated by it. It never occurred to me that I could actually make money at it. But so the short version of all of this is that through that struggle, my intuition led me to go back to school with something that I was really interested in and really good at. I started with bookkeeping because it was fun. And then I went back to school for accounting. And then I went back to school for tax preparation and then corporate and LLC tax preparation. And then I worked for H&R Block for a hot minute and then and during that whole time, I started my own practice. Sorry, this is not the short version, but for
It's okay.
close to 40 years, I've done accounting. I've had my own accounting practice and I've had thousands of appointments with people around money. And, that intuition, the woo-woo part, the woo-woo, which is not woo-woo. Everybody has intuition.
Yep.
Everybody has psychic abilities. We all have that. I'm fascinated by that stuff. So I started to learn about that. And only because I could feel how people were coming into the office with angst. Like I'm coming into a tax person and they come
Yeah.
in and I'm like, I talk to the human first. We go human. Like let's soften that human. And they're like like their shoulders would drop, they'd start to breathe and go, wow. Right. So we talk to the human being first and then we deal with the money. And so intuitively I knew there was a lot of struggle, a lot of mind trash, a head crap around what people think they should know already. Like they should know this stuff already, and they come in guarded and like there's a steel trap around their body, like, you
Yeah.
know,
We all need to stop shitting ourselves.
exactly. And so what I found overworking, having these appointments is that people really need, this is where the calling came from.
Mm.
I found through practice with the people in my office, softening that edge so that they actually could um, envision a bigger future. Like, oh, you mean I don't have to stay here forever? Oh, that's been holding me back. Oh, wow, I can really do this, right? And so we start there, and then we talk about the tax return because you clear cut, you've got to report things and all that stuff. But we
Sure.
do this first. And that part became my calling. Like, how do I help the human being? So go into this. this expansion and being excited, like seeing new possibilities and actually stepping into them. And what I find incredibly empowering for me is that the more people we can help do that, you and I can help do that, the better the world's going to be. Like the better the relationships are going to be, communication, connection. There'll be more, when we're not, there's a study that was done when we're solely focused in on making more money, we're going to harm the planet more. We're going to have bad relationships, right? When that's a priority, like making more, it's going to be harmful. I mean, think about it. When you're really busy with work, you buy takeout stuff that's not good for you and plastic items, you throw it away. You don't have time for your kids or your spouse or your partner, your family, your mom, your dad, you know what I mean? You're focusing more, 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 more. But
Yep.
really, it's once we soothe that inside part that doesn't need more, but wants to expand, that's where the magic happens. So that's kind of in a nutshell of kind of, I don't know how I did with that, but I am passionate about this. I love it. And I'm super excited about being part of this process and learning. You talked about that earlier, learning. I'm always learning something new about how to help people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It sounds like so your career in finances and taxes and accounting all started about 40 years ago. And then, I saw you post last week, I guess it was, that you've also just celebrated 35 years of being sober.
yes,
That's so huge. Would you just share a little bit about that too? Because
yeah.
that has to be a big part of your story too. And I don't think
It,
we talked about that at all last time.
we didn't, and I have
And
to say,
one day at a time, it's just like amazing. Like that really adds up and
it
compounds. And
shocked. It shocks me every year I have an anniversary. Like, how is that possible? How am I this age? How am I, I intuitively the I intuitively knew for years that drinking wasn't good for me, and it was a voice that got louder and louder, and it made me feel bad about me. Also, I have a physical compulsion. My off switch is broken when it comes to alcohol and sugar. It's broken. So the second the alcohol or sugar comes into my body, with alcohol, I can't stop drinking until I would pass out.
Mm,
Or with sugar, I overeat like the entire day, like, and it doesn't matter what I'm eating. It's the strangest thing. So I struggled for years around the turmoil that was going on in my head. Like even though I didn't drink every day, like I could go months without drinking. I'd think, well, surely I'm not an alcoholic because I could go months without drinking. But that internal turmoil was happening every single day, all day long. I don't know how to describe it other than it was a tug of war that was going on. And
yeah. I would
so,
describe that like an energy leak,
yep,
right? Because it's
huge.
like you're not in the present because you're leaking your energy back to your past experiences or what you're thinking about doing in the future. So
Yeah.
I would call it an energy leak.
I, yeah, absolutely. So I start with 100% of energy. This was taking me down to 50%
Yeah.
every day.
You're out.
And it wasn't until it got so darn painful and it was more emotionally painful that I finally was like, that's it. I woke up. I remember the last time I drank. I I drank, I first of all, I could have a half a drink and start slurring my words like I'd had 10. Or
Wow.
the last time it was really embarrassing. Like, why am I slurring my words? I've only had a half a drink. Like, it's crazy. And then the last time I drank, I had like 5 or 6 glasses of wine. The relief that I wanted from the day didn't happen. Like I stayed stone cold sober and I finally gave up and I woke up with a horrible hangover the next morning. And that's when I got that free and unmerited gift of being in so much spiritual pain that I went, that's it, just for today. And I said a prayer to higher power, source, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. I call it God. It's easier. Please help me to stay away from alcohol just for today. And then snarky in my snarky tone. I'm not promising about tomorrow though. And so, 35 years later, it's the best thing I ever did for myself. If I were to drop dead tomorrow, I would feel okay about myself and my life because I was available. And it's the one thing that I can't do is drink alcohol. I think I can live with that.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
how do you handle the sugar?
I don't eat it. Yeah, sugar, chocolate, gluten. Gluten, most 95% gluten free. I would say 99% gluten free. Doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make my body feel good. So it's a good indicator that it's not my body. When my body says it's not happy, like I most of the time listen. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I'd love to dive into prosperity because I know that's at the heart of what you're most passionate about right now. So can we start by like maybe defining a little bit? Like, what do you mean when you say prosperity? What does it mean beyond income? Or how
Yeah.
does definition differ from like being rich or things like that that
Yeah.
people might associate it with?
Very good question. And I'm still developing the answer.
Sure.
Um, but really, prosperity is a mindset. And I'm going to say what happens for a lot of people around prosperity. They think because they have debt or they don't have wealth, they don't have prosperity. So when I say it's a mindset, um, it's about acknowledging all the things that we do have
Yeah.
and being grateful for them and taking the pressure off the money. Right? So step into the gratitude for what's already present and celebrating that, even if it's too much debt or not enough income. Let's celebrate the fact that those are teachers for us. And what are their, rather than labeling them good or bad, celebrate that they're teachers and what can we learn from them so that we go, oh, I don't like this, and move towards something that we do. So, um, prosperity is about expansion.
Mm,
And if we can live in the day with a prosperous mindset of gratitude, joy, connection, even being grateful for the things that, like I just said, around that we don't like around our finances, be grateful for that because they're here to teach us something. That like stepping into that in the daily thing, and then we can actually, once we feel prosperous around that, envisioning a bigger, better, brighter future becomes easier. And it's like I want to say a carrot. It's like a point on the map where we're going toward. It gets bigger. Does that make sense?
mm. It does
Yeah,
make sense.
yeah,
It does, definitely. I
yeah.
love that. There's a lot to think about when it comes to prosperity and a lot of different teachers that I've had that I've learned a lot about prosperity from. Um, what would you say, like when I think about prosperity and I think about money, I also think about things like money blocks and stuff like that. And I know when I took the course that you had last year, that you talk a lot about like money blocks and things like that. And I always kind of look at that through the lens of the nervous system also. Do you notice any particular like common like nervous system patterns like fight, flight, freeze, fawn, like any of those kind of things that you see coming up often in the work that you do or how they show up in people's daily decisions about that kind of stuff?
It's freeze.
Mhm.
It's freeze and fawn.
Yeah.
There's and they don't even know where to ask. They don't even know how to ask for help because it's too vulnerable. Um, it's freeze and duck. You know, don't look, don't let me,
Yeah.
don't. I don't want to.
Avoidant.
Yeah, I don't want to look at my finance. Oh God, it's a bill. Even people who are making a ton of money can still have that. Which is mind blowing because there's plenty to be had. They
Oh, yeah.
that internal system, that internal dialogue is telling them that they don't know how to do money,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Avoid
crap.
distance are huge. And I find that the most when I'm talking to like couples about that, or I mean, I'm talking to one part of the couple and they're talking about how they don't talk about it as a couple, or even in like my own marriage, when we will say like, hey, we're gonna have a little like powwow to like discuss the finances or whatever, like every other week. Sometimes we'll miss them for a few sessions. And it's nobody's like calling anybody out like, oh hey, we didn't sit down to have that talk that's on the calendar. Why not?
Yeah.
And it's always that resistance and that avoidance. It's always easier to have the talks when, you just had a killer month or whatever else than it is when things feel a little less prosperous or less.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting how our ancestry shows up in both of us. in the conversation. I remember talking to a couple who they're brilliant, both of them. And they came in, they're like, who knew that you could go to a tax strategist and know that she has a biomat in the other room to go lie down? So that blew them away right there. But it's like, have you ever done a budget? Like, and I hate the word budget, just like,
Yeah, the word's awful, isn't it? What
yeah,
else can we call it?
it's phasing out. It's more about tracking. Like, have you ever tracked
Yeah.
your, and they're like, no. It's like, how much do you earn and how much do you spend? And it's, because they had no idea, they couldn't talk about it. And the reason they couldn't talk about it is because his household was it always an argument when he grew up, like huge argument. So he didn't want to talk about it. And she grew up in chaos. So the two of them together would be an explosion. And they didn't want to do it. So they weren't prosperous at all because they couldn't even talk about it. So yeah, that's the yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think about prosperity, for whatever reason, my mind often goes to like Bob Proctor. Did you study much of his stuff, or have you
I
ever like,
didn't. The name,
no?
yeah, he sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
like an OG of personal development and like building businesses and things like that. He's since passed, but like I just think about like the ways that he kind of dialed in on the different like laws, like that prosperity is energetic, which would be like the law of like perpetual transmutation, right? So like energy is always moving into physical form. So ideas plus like emotion and repetition is how we get results.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, quick pause to let you in on something you might not know. You know, you can book a totally free, no pressure 15-minute insight call with me. Yep, just you and me chatting about the real life stuff that's feeling heavy or unclear or stuck in your world right now. Whether that's in your business, your body, your relationships, your energy, all of the above, maybe. We'll explore what's really going on beneath the surface, and I will share a few personalized insights to help you start moving towards the outcomes you truly desire and get out of your own way with clarity, peace, momentum, and abundance. Just go to gamechangingconversation.com and grab a time that works for you. I can't wait to connect with you and hold space for your next breakthrough. All right, let's get back to the episode. Or the idea of like making space for more, because there's like that's like the vacuum law of prosperity, where if we can like let go of like the old clutter and the BS ideas and beliefs and misaligned stuff, then it creates this like vacuum that the universe or God or whatever you want to call it just rushes to fill.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that kind of like lights me up about it. Or that like earnings tend to reflect the need for what you do and then your ability to do it and how hard you are to replace, like that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Or it's like that's like law of compensation.
Yeah.
So I think of like all those different things when I think about prosperity.
Well, I love that. And I love that when we start to build our prosperity container with a practice, whether it be a journal, like I do a gratitude list, a prosperity list, I do meditation.
It hooks us right up to that source,
Like,
right?
like I remember once because I have my guides, they talk to me every morning and they said like do a gratitude list. We want you to do like it was like 1,000. I was like, what? And then actually started, and I literally had like 5 or 6 pages with 3 columns on each page, and I had it done in 5 minutes. Um, but there's something about I'm not suggesting that everybody do that practice every day, but it's kind of fun when you really tap into prosperity, like gratitude around air, breath, sight, trees, wind, leaves, dogs, even dog poop. Like my dog poop, my dogs are alive, so I get to clean up dog poop in the morning. Like makes me happy. Like
There's
woohoo!
an abundance of
Like
dog poop.
abundance, abundance. Like if we set in motion a prosperity practice, we're attracting in prosperity.
Right.
Like we're not forcing it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so that vision gets bigger. And like you just said, it tells the universe, my light's on for prosperity. And the wealth starts to come in because we start to get new ideas that aren't restricted and we start to take action when we were scared before in that flight, or freeze. Fawn as well. Fawn is new. I love that one. It's not new, but it's the first time I've heard it just a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. I love that.
Well, I believe that there's six, and I talk about them a lot of times in my
Oh,
workshop.
good. I want to hear.
Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flop, and fuck. So the system reactions that I always talk about because I think they're all completely true and they all have a different place for each of us.
Oh, those are brilliant. I'm gonna actually write those down. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, prosperity is like such a cool topic. I love that you're like doing a whole well, tell us what you're doing on it because I know you're doing like I think like a 5-day thing and you're doing a whole course on it.
Yeah.
Tell us what you have in store about this prosperity is
Yeah.
it method or what are you calling
Well,
it?
we have a couple of things going on. So let's just say in reference, this is October of 2025. So I have a 5-day training coming up at the end of October. I believe it's the 27th, called the Prosperity Shift. And it's a 5-day training on how to shift into the prosperity mindset. It's all about shifting. And actually, it was down like I did my whole outline of what I thought it should be. And then I was like, I talked to my guides and said, what do you think it should be? And I love theirs better. So we're going with what they said. And so it's a 5-day live training. It's a half an hour a day. There'll be some VIP seats for that also. And then what we do is we go into, I'll have a webinar after that about how do we expand that a little bit more into luxury living. Like,
Mhm.
right? How do we take the sting out of the thought of luxury living? It's bad, like stepping into luxury living, and then that goes into the prosperity method, which is an 8 week program that actually spans over several months. The cool thing about that is it'll span into the beginning of 2026. Right when we have a new year happening, we're doing a plan on how to revise, how to, not, I hate New Year's resolutions, but how to set in practices, habit stacking for the new year.
Yeah,
And so we're building those habits uh, in the prosperity method. It's
I
kind of
love
cool.
that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I love that. So this stuff's all starting up really soon. We're going to make sure that we have the link for people to, register for the 5-day training that you're going to be doing. And guys, Sharon always does these live. These are not like pre-recorded webinar type things like some of you might, be accustomed to seeing where, you're going to actually get to talk with Sharon and be in her energy. And it's a great experience. And I want to make sure that's known because I think there's too many workshops and events and things where somebody's just press and play on something that they recorded years ago and it just doesn't have the same energy as something
Yeah.
that is happening live with as much care and um, you know preparation as I know you put into the things that you present. So we're going to make sure that that is in the show notes for people. um, Another place that I feel like prosperity, I learned a lot about my relationship with it because, for me, I used to focus on like the money or the lack thereof and that scarcity mindset and stuff was A Course in Miracles,
Mm,
study that because there it really comes down to like prosperity is peace,
yes.
you know? My favorite line is like the opening line in A Course in Miracles, which says, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
Yeah.
And that just, I mean, to me that's prosperity though, where we can change our mind. We don't
Yeah.
have to like change the world. And that lasting prosperity can come from just simple things like correcting our own perception.
Yeah. And changing our world changes the world.
Yes.
And it also
Exactly.
gives us freedom. Like we get freedom and expansiveness around that, right? So when you're just talking about that, it brings us freedom in the day that we live in. And honestly, all we really have is right now. Like 5 minutes ago is gone. Can't
Yep.
change it. We got right now. Like how do we live in the now with that expansive freedom? And I love what you just said about changing the way we think about things. My favorite quote, I love Wayne Dyer. I was heartbroken
Mhm.
when he passed away. But when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yes.
That's
Hmm.
how prosperity happens.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
though
Attention.
debt becomes a teacher, lack of income becomes a teacher. What do I
Right.
need to learn? How do I expand in this? How do I step out of being a victim and step into an empowered action and decide that this circumstance right now is not going to hold me back, right? No, no, no. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people don't decide. They're like, oh, life sucks and then you die. Well, you know, okay. You could go that way. Some people say that, like, oh, living the dream, like it's a bad thing. Like, I'm living the dream. Like, every day's a dream life, right?
Right.
So I love that. I love that peace. And as soon as you said that, I thought of freedom. We get
Mhm.
freedom, freedom to choose, freedom to live, to expand. Does we get to decide what we get to have in our lives? Life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us.
Absolutely. Have you joined the Becoming More Me community over on School yet? It is one of the fastest growing distraction free platforms for learning and connection. And it's where the magic's happening for the Becoming More Me community as well. Inside, you will find a high vibe circle of heart centered, ambitious entrepreneurs and professionals doing deep work to become who they truly feel called to be in life, in business, in love, health, and wealth, and doing it in ways that feel aligned, authentic, and full of pleasure. The community is packed with tons of valuable resources too that you can start using right away, as well as guidance to find the ones that are going to help you so that you don't need to waste time. We're talking tools, trainings, and practices to support your growth, all for free. Plus, you can find info on working with me more deeply, whether it's through one-on-one coaching, small group experiences, or the Becoming More Me with EFT program, as well as information on upcoming workshops and other events. To join, head over to school.com/discovery. That's SKOOL.com/discovery. Type in my name, Theresa, Lear, Levine, and you will find the Becoming More Me community right there. Click on it to join. I can't wait to welcome you to the community.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I know you and I have done some one-on-one work together through my Becoming More You program. How have you noticed like the way that subconscious or nervous system shifts have changed either your own relationship with prosperity or other areas of your life?
Um, Huge, just want to say. I think the biggest thing that has helped me the most is that undercurrent of trauma and um, I want to say beliefs, and I'm not sure a belief is the right word, but uh, I'm not coming up with the right word right now, but
Programming?
hmm?
Is it programming?
There you go. That's the word. The programming has dissolved. And so, I mean, it's still, the memories are still there for sure,
Sure.
but they're not running my show anymore. Like I always said, I have this alter ego called Mr. Black. It's the double side, it's the thing that drives me, which is great, but it's also the thing that beats me up. And so
Mm.
what's happened with your work is the side that beats me up is like little instead of
Mr.
half.
Black got a new role.
Yeah, yeah. He's a supporting actor now. And then I'm able to move forward now with more confidence, and that self-doubt isn't as loud. That who do you think you are? Inner critic, imposter syndrome has gone like see ya, bye-bye. It's kind of cool.
It is. It is
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's amazing to me. I mean, all the things, and it's the kind of stuff that you teach too, but it's like the underliers, right? Like the stuff like you can go learn how to have a budget or you can learn how to do your own taxes or whatever other kind of stuff, but nobody's out there so much teaching like how to get rid of that programming or how to look at things in a more expansive way or any of those things that actually help us like leverage the how-to knowledge and make it apply to our world, our history, our own conditioning, all of that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah.
love that about the work that you're doing.
Well, and I love that about the work that you're doing because the going into the how is easier when you don't have that. I want to swear, but I'm not going to. That
I already did. It doesn't matter.
the mind fuck that's going on. I can't. I'm not smart enough. I can't. Like it's crap.
Hmm.
If you think, here's another one of my quotes that I love by Henry Ford. If you think you can or think you can't, you're absolutely right.
Yep,
And I
either way.
say, like hearing I can't should be a trigger to go, wait a minute, is that true? Like, let's decide, is that true? I can't. Well, for me, like I wouldn't run a 20 a marathon. Like today I couldn't. But could I do it? I absolutely could if I did the training and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
cool.
the only thing between you where you are now and where you would be running that is those beliefs that you either are or you're not capable. And
Exactly.
and lining those up with the actions,
Yeah.
which so often are the things people like to leave out of manifestation when it comes to prosperity and things. It's like we do still need to take action, but it needs
Yeah.
to be aligned.
Yeah.
And then we can detach from the outcome as long
Yeah.
as we're taking some aligned action and we're
What
intentional.
I what I really loved about working with you was the recordings that I got with the binomial beats. What are they? Is that what they're called?
Binaural beats. Yeah.
Binaural beats. And that I get to have that when we're not working together. And it really like sets the tone for the day. Like
Yeah. Nice
really
hypnosis.
wonderful stuff. Yeah. So that's part of my action, like is to take that because I know that that supports me in the day that I'm in. So that and that keeps not only is that keeping Mr. Black at bay, but it's like maybe you need to change to lovely lavender or something. All right.
There you go. A total rebrand of Mr. Black.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
So for people who are interested in the 5-day training that you have coming up, what can they expect to get out of that? Like what kind of shifts and changes can they expect after going through it?
Well, they're going to get a pretty big mindset shift because it's all going to be driven from the aerial view of your life. It's about expansion, and it's about vision so that they know where they're going. And then we untangle what are they thinking about? What is their head talking to them about? And then how do we flip that to again serve them?
Hmm.
Like we start to shift the mindset around the beliefs that they're having. So we start with the aerial view. Like, you can be the observer of your life. It really takes judgment out. Um,
Hmm.
and you can observe where you are in the life and with compassion and kindness. And
Hmm.
so really that's the part that is so expansive. And then we do the learning when we're in that seat, right? So it's about vision, having a forward vision, retraining the beliefs. Like what are the beliefs, retraining the beliefs, and getting some habits into building a prosperity practice so that they can actually take
Yeah.
moving forward. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of like those metrics that matter that come into habits? Like where would you um maybe recommend that listeners like track things going on in with their money or prosperity so that they can start seeing a little progress that's motivating?
I always say when people are having financial fear, like, where are you financially? Like, I'm going to put my accountant hat on now, my accounting hat on. Track where you are. Even if it's like, even if you want to do this and you're scared of what you want to see, like, is it the truth? Like, is this fear the truth? Like, you may know it's the truth. I've got $150,000 of credit card debt and my income doesn't even cover that. That's the truth, but that's where you start. Like, start where you are. So you start with that financially, you track where you are. And you can number where you are also. Like, how do I feel today? So you could do the tracking where you are. So you can't, what do you own and what do you owe? That's it. Not a hard exercise, right?
Right.
What do you own and what do you owe? And then you can track, how do you feel about where you are? When you look at that on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about that? It could be 1, it could be 7, and that's where you start. And that's where your numbers will tell you how you're doing and that number of 1 to 10 will tell you how you're feeling about how you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. One of the things I always liked that got me really interested in EFT tapping was how it did let me get kind of like that like observer position, like you just mentioned. Like when I do a round of EFT, I do feel like I'm observing the situation rather than reacting or like stuck in it.
Yes.
Um, That was definitely one of the things that I really liked about bringing nervous system work into my life, especially at the beginning, because often it kind of felt like you couldn't like get above the situation to really get that eagle eye view on it and see like, oh, okay, I see what's happening. All right. Oh, that's not actually the truth of who I am. All right. Hmm. Oh, look, there's some possibility over here. Like just this stuff that you can't see like when you're down in the depths of it. So,
Exactly.
you
Well, I
know,
experienced that when you did tap, every time you did tapping with me, you know me, I come in going, oh, I've got to work. And, by the time we're done, it's like, oh, I have a plan that feels expansive and feels like doable. Yeah. Love
yeah.
EFT. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to be able to come into your group early next year and do some EFT tapping and
Me too.
hypnosis with them. We had a lot
Yeah.
of fun doing that earlier this year when I did it with your program. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. It's fun to be able to combine everything that you're bringing in with prosperity and all of your like wise knowledge from so many years in accounting and to bring in the subconscious stuff too and just see like how it all comes together so beautifully.
Well, it had great value. I mean, we've already talked about that in this call, but in terms of the group itself, it changes the energy in the group itself so that there's more expansion happening within the group because of the call we had.
Yeah.
It got them to think differently and got them into that aerial view, right? So it was just beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Excited to do that again. That's going to be a lot of fun. So, any other particular stuff about prosperity or other areas that you're passionate about that you want to share or touch on?
Get started today. That's it. Start where you are without judgment. Just notice what you like, which is great, and what you don't like, and change what you don't like and start today. Small
Yep.
steps, huge rewards. Small steps taken often move mountains. That's what my guide said in one of our messages to their group, because that's what we do. We get messages through the group, and they're like small steps taken often move mountains. That's exactly what they said. So that's what I would say. Don't be afraid to get started. If you think you can, do it and
Yep.
decide. Like, just decide you can do it. You just have to decide to do it. And don't let anybody or anything stop you. Like, just start today. Like anything, I have seen I have seen miraculous things happen financially, like blow your mind financially, and with people who are like stuck in it, like hundreds of thousands of debt in IRS debt. You know what I mean? Like bankruptcies, all, and then just I've seen huge things, all because they just decided, like, start today. Like, and a year from now, I love this quote. A year from now, you'll wish you had started today. So just get started today, where you
It's
are. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to have the willingness to decide to get started. So
Yeah, like we were talking about a little bit before we started recording the podcast about using time as a tool. Like we don't have endless quantities of it in this particular life that we're living.
yeah,
And you can get started or you can just keep having that same groundhog day of things being the way they are or potentially worse by not getting started. But I think
yeah,
that prosperity definitely values our integrity. Like we need to be in integrity with what we want and in alignment with the way that we're living and taking action.
yeah,
And I think that prosperity follows that pretty well. And I think for most of us, this is probably why we avoid and why we resist is that our decisions with our money especially and in other areas where we want more abundance, whether that's connection in relationships, improved health, whatever the case may be, but especially with money, we'll notice that our decisions do not align. They're not in integrity with what we say we want.
yeah. Because fear is running the show. Fear
Yeah.
makes the decision. And when
Yeah.
fear makes a decision, we're rarely in line with what we value and what we care about. As a matter of fact, we're speaking against our intuition with that. Um,
Yeah.
fear has very fear, and that's why one of the trainings that I do is it real? It's all called is this real? False events appearing real. Is this real? And how does it feel when you make a decision based out of fear? It's like putting a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't work. When you
Yeah.
are aligned, it's a
Feels like
round.
contraction to me. It
It's
feels like contraction.
exactly. It doesn't feel good. It feels hard. When you're in alignment with yourself, it's easy. It's like, yes, hell yes, yes. When it's
Mm,
like, oh, should I? Oh, I don't know. You know, that's the fear talking, right? Yeah.
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 Oh, beautiful. I love this conversation. I always love talking to you.
Mm.
And where can people find you? Where can we learn more about this and
Yeah. I
dive in?
think the best way to connect with me or keep in touch with me is my website, infiniteassetscoaching.com. There's also a tab on there for prosperity possible messages if you want to sign up for an email. Um, it's about the email's not about tax advice, or although sometimes there's stuff in there about that, but it's more about mindset and how do you feel. It's a feel good email. It's a feel
Yeah,
good. How do we feel good? And it's more about
I
up
get your email.
leveling. Yeah, like it's fun. It's a fun thing. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to get another email. It's like, oh, there might be something good in here to help me. Like,
Yeah,
there is something good, and it helps me every time I write them. So that's the best way to keep in touch. And with that email, announcements come out for programs and things like that. So that's the best way to keep in touch.
beautiful. And we are going to put the registration link for your upcoming challenge or training at the end of this month in the show notes. So for anybody who wants to register for that, highly, highly recommend. You will not regret it. And thank you so much just for being here today, for being you, and for sharing so much of your knowledge with us.
I am honored to be here. And I'm always happy to get on a call with you. I think you're the best. I love the work that you do. So anytime we can collaborate on this, I'm in. Thank you.
Absolutely. For it
Yeah.
too. And to all of you listening, I know you've got a million choices when it comes to the podcast you listen to. Thank you for choosing Becoming More Me. Thanks for spending some of your precious time with me today. If you loved this episode, please leave a review or simply share it with someone else who would get great benefit from it too. If you share on social media, please tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. And if your inner critic is still trying to argue with those facts, hit me up. We've got work to do.